platforms when I go live on YouTube. So some days it's Facebook, some days it's TikTok. I definitely don't have enough devices to go live on all of them. Not yet. Not yet. But I will soon. So I wanted to get on here today and continue talking about just what I've been talking about, speaking your truth, being like the best version of you. I know we all have our own stories. We've all been through something for sure. So I definitely wanted to talk on speaking up and speaking your truth for so long. Like as a kid, like I was always sort of a confident kid. I went through my stuff, and I think we all did. I know some people were bullied. I was one of those people that was bullied. So like I didn't have confidence, I guess, as a kid. I had more confidence as I went into my later teenage years and my college years. And trust me, when you have confidence, after you hadn't had it for so while and you build it up, when it gets broken down, it takes a little while to build back up again. Every time you build it back up, I mean, it comes back. I mean, you're not starting from scratch. So it's definitely just reinventing yourself every time, just figuring out exactly who you want to be. And like I always say, my 30s, 37. Hi, Tommy. Hi, guys. Thank you for hopping on. But when you truly have to, rebuild that confidence, hi, Sam. It is hard. But the thing is, you're not doing it from nowhere. Like, you know who you are. Deep down in our soul, we all know who we are. We all know who we're meant to be. But so many of us are afraid of what people are going to say, what people will think. But we know what we're meant to do. And I know sometimes the universe, and God changes our plans. Like, we want to be athletes, we want to be actors, singers, or, you're in a relationship and you think you're going to marry that person and it doesn't work out, or you do marry them and you get divorced, and, really makes you rethink a lot in life. And I mean, it really makes you rethink a ton in life when you have those kind of losses. And I get it. But the thing is, the universe puts you on a certain path for a certain reason. And whether that's to put you in front of people that can help you find your next stepping stone, your next path, or how to tell your story. I know a lot of us that I work with want to write books, want to be motivational speakers. We didn't think about that as kids. I know as a kid, I wasn't raised to be an entrepreneur. They didn't speak about being an entrepreneur in school. It was, you went to school, you had to get good grades. And some of us, a lot of you were athletes. You went to practice and you did your things. Like I had to go to a job. That's why I couldn't be an athlete. My parents were really poor, but I had to still keep my good grades and work so that way I could go to college. And I got, my degree, and I became a worker. It was never taught, like, how do you build a business? How do you start a business? Or if you have an idea, like, how do you patent an idea? Because everything's crazy or weird or different until it's done. It really is. If you would have told somebody 10 years ago, you'd be sitting here on social media listening to somebody across the world or whatnot and actually having conversations with them. And I could actually bring you on here and we could have a conversation. I have people from Africa. I got people in Massachusetts and Florida, Saipan. I got people all over. I could bring them on and we could have a full-fledged conversation, see each other in real time. But if somebody told you that 10 years ago, what would you have told them? You would have told them that was crazy. It's insane, right? Well, somebody took their insane idea and made it a reality. But I know I was never taught that kind of stuff. Like, nobody taught me to think like that. My parents encouraged my imagination, and I'm so glad they did, because when we talk about vision, so many people think it's with their eyes, but vision is actually something you see in your head first. It's something you imagine. And imagination is an amazing gift if you have it. Like, you can picture your car, your house, or even what kind of relationships you want, what kind of team. Like, I'm working with people on, in the digital entrepreneur space and different spaces. And like, I can imagine the qualities I want them to have, like loyalty, trust, integrity, self-motivated, this and that. Like, I can just picture them like interacting with each other, being happy and positive and uplifting. Of course, there's going to be bad times, but we're going to work through that at certain times, with proper leadership skills. And we can all picture those type of things. But when you picture those type of things, like, what's the next step? How do you put it into action? But so many people don't take that next step because they don't want to tell anybody about ideas that they have, because what are their friends going to say? Dude, that's crazy. You're going to create what? You're going to do what? Or you want to start a what? That's not going to work. That's the first thing they say. Nobody ever says, "Oh man, all right, like how can we do that?" Or like, let's go down and like figure out how to get a patent and like start working on it, mass producing it. Nobody ever taught me about that kind of stuff at all. Nobody taught me about LLCs. Nobody taught me about serial LLCs. Nobody taught me about DBAs. We all see businesses, but they all start somewhere. I don't care if it's somebody's garage. I don't care if it's somebody's, a warehouse space. I don't care if it's a friend's home. And I went to look at office spaces to actually start running some of my events out of, and like I'm adding another actual adventure to my book of business next week, so stay tuned to that. I'll keep you guys posted on that one too. Pretty cool. But I'm always growing. I'm always looking for new ventures now, and like being 37, like God, the people that are in their 20s now or their teens still, and I don't care if you're in your 40s or your 50s, it's never too late to start. If you have a dream, go for it. Go for it. Because the only thing you're going to ever regret is something you didn't do. And if somebody says you can't do it, it's because they feel like they can't do it. All of people's opinions are from their mind, from their situations, from things they've encountered. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with what you're capable of. So if they say, dude, I don't think that'll work, or dude, like, I don't think it's going to, it's going to go through. It's because maybe they failed as an entrepreneur. Maybe somebody put them down or put their dreams down, so they never did it. So they went to college and got the good job, and they lived the ideal life, or whatever your ideal life is. And like I've spoke on the American Dream before. The American Dream was actually my American nightmare, and that's just my thing. Like that was not my happiness. That was not my zen. I was definitely in something that wasn't growing. It was very toxic and just not healthy for me. And everybody has their own dream. And the main thing is you need to live your dream. And I know as adults, and most of the people that get on my lives are definitely adults. When was the last time somebody asked you, like, hey, what do you like to do? Not what the kids like to do, not what your parents like to do, not what the girlfriend or boyfriend likes to do. What do you like to do? Or if you can do anything, it's going to be a little bit hard, but anything. But if you knew you put in the work and time, what would you do? What would you go for? Would you want to start your own business? Would you want to invent something? I don't care. Would you want to like start a farm and like literally like raise show animals? Like, what are your dreams? Guys, think about that. And I know that sounds so random, but like I said, when everything fell apart for me 4 years ago, somebody really asked me, like, what do you want to do? Or what do you like to do? And like it made me cry. It broke me because and it was a text, but it broke me because I didn't know who Jill was. I didn't know what I liked to do. I didn't know what made me happy, because everything I'd done my whole life was to help my family, to take care of people, and then I got in relationships. So when we went places, a lot of times I was always that person. What do you like to do? Oh, whatever you want. Where do you want to go? Wherever you want. And I actually went on a date a few years ago, about 2 years ago now, and I had started seeing somebody, and they were talking to me, and they said, what do you want to eat? And I said, oh, it doesn't matter. And they're like, no, it does matter. They're like, because when I pick a place and it's okay, you'll just be like, yeah. But if it's something you really want, they're like, you get excited, you get happy. And I was like, they're like, I noticed that. And like, I didn't even know that was something I did. I'm a big people pleaser. And it's not that I don't like stuff at restaurants, but I'm that type of person like, oh, I can find something to eat anywhere. Or, I always make the best of any moment. Like, you want to go to the movies and see that movie? I'll like it. That's fine. You want to go to the amusement park? Okay. But I don't even know when I do that kind of stuff. So as I'm learning myself, and it's been a long, crazy journey, and I love who I am and who I'm becoming, that's for sure. But I've been working on never dimming my light again for somebody. And that's definitely a work in progress for me. It's like I said, I love to make other people smile. I love to love. And whether that's in business, whether that's in relationships, whether that's friendships, anything like that, it's just crazy because I love to make people happy. But a lot of times when you do that, well, you sacrifice your goals, you sacrifice your dreams. You don't even know you're doing that. And I'm just like, wow. Of course, in Mikey, I mean, I know that kind of stuff is hindsight. And you look back, and I have to get better with that. My team is such a priority to me, and I love helping people come up and win and stuff like that. And I'm working on finding there's never a balance. I've listened to a lot of entrepreneurs. Like when you have turmoil in your life, it's really a spot of growth. It's not turmoil. You have to take anything like that and you're learning and it's a lesson. And there's always going to be like work and, significant other or this and that. There's never really going to be a full balance. That's okay. That's why it's a scale. But you have to find healthy relationships that encourage you to become the best you, that encourage your goals and dreams. You want to find healthy relationships that support you on your lower days, encourage you, but you have to do the same for them. And I know everybody talks about being a queen and a king, and I clap for everybody that straightens their crown every day because, God, I know when you've gone through some stuff, getting out of bed some days and putting your crown on is difficult, and putting that smile on. I don't care if you're going to the office, you're going to a job. I don't care if you're doing a side hustle. I don't care what you're doing. Some days just getting out of bed is rough. I know it. I get it. But you show up. You have to. You have to show up for you. You do. And I always preach on consistency. Consistency is key. And am I perfect in anything I do? No, but I make sure I get my shit done no matter what. It might not always be in the order that I want it to be, but there's some non-negotiables in my life, from the gym to walking to trading to my team calls to my home, my nutrition, working on my e-commerce stores, now working on my next side hustle. And I'll be announcing that next week. I'll actually be dropping some stuff for Thanksgiving and stuff like that on there. But so, you know, blessed at some of the lessons that I've learned. And like, I know when you're in your 20s, and I have a lot of people that watch my lives from their 20s and they're like, oh my God, 37's old. I remember thinking 37 was old, and I'm 37 now. And I'm like, I feel so young. I feel better than I did in my 20s, in all honesty. I guess it's growth, and I take better care of myself now than I ever did. But Gary Vee speaks on it. He's like, I remember when like 50 and 60 was old, and he's getting up into that age now. And he's like, and I feel good. And like, I'm like, wow, I'm right there with like Gary Vee. I get what he means. Like, if you start taking care of yourself and you love what you're doing, like, I don't know, like starting another venture, another project and stuff like that. And just, what you love, you don't feel like you're getting old. It's a mindset. A mindset matters when it's positivity, with aging, with ventures, but you have to be consistent. So many of us worked for other people that we never met, and we let them sign paychecks, and we're okay with trusting them to pay us, but we don't trust ourselves to show up and work on our e-commerce store or trade and pull money out of the market or invest properly. And there's always risks. Even the people you work for take losses. There's monthly losses that they write off. There's quarterly losses. I mean, there's always loss. As long as your risk to reward set up properly, it's fine. All that type of stuff is just learning curves. Like if certain products don't work in your e-commerce, okay, it happens. Certain trades don't work out because of news or different things. It's okay. But you have to show up and do it again tomorrow. You have to show up and just be consistent. And so many people are like, oh, they took a losing trade or a losing investment, they quit. Gosh. And I'm so not a sports person because I didn't play sports. And my roommate Robert always makes fun of me. That's why he doesn't talk sports, because I don't know a lot about them. I really don't. But he's like, you hear statistics about basketball players, baseball players, like how many baskets they actually make, how many home runs they actually hit. And they don't win every game. They don't make every basket. They don't hit a home run every time. They show up. They're some of the top paid athletes. Why is that? Because they show up, not just for games, they show up every day. They practice every day. And they believe them in themselves. Do you really think when they were on the come up, like people believed in them? You have to look at the stars. You have to look at like one of my favorite musicians is Pink. Do you know she was working at? I'm gonna say it was Wendy's when she got the call that like her first song got picked up. Brad Pitt was like a busboy when he got discovered. I know most people know like Steve Harvey, Jim Carrey, like the things that we know about certain stars. These people like slept on park benches while they were trying to get jobs. Are you willing to do that kind of stuff for the come up? How much do you really want it? Are you afraid of what people will say if you did have to take an L like that? Why? What? It's your dream, it's your goal. You know where you're going, but the thing is, like I was saying about vision, you have to have vision, and that's that picture. Know where you're going. Know that hard work that you're putting in is doing it. Like I know where I'm going in the next like 10 years. Like I know where I'm gonna be. Where I'm at right now, it's great. It's a stepping stone. And gosh, like when my husband died and like so I sold the house and stuff like that and came to an apartment, it was like a blow to my ego. I was really not personally developed and I really didn't know much about myself at all. Like I said, really hurt, really in a bad spot, you know. But yeah, I'm in an apartment and some people are like, oh, you're just I love my apartment though. My apartment's home. And if you've never been somewhere where you don't feel like you have a home, you'll understand. I remember crying after everything went down and being like, I don't know where home is. Like I knew I didn't want to be where I was. I didn't really want to be here at that point in time. I don't want to go back to Pennsylvania. And it took me a long time to be okay. Home is found like within. I swear home is found within. It's a feeling. A house and an apartment is a place you rest your head. I get it. But home is something completely different. And I know where I'm going in the next few years. And home is just going to be amazing. That's exactly it. And like we just have to have blind faith. Like blind faith, what you're doing is going to work. And they always say, like, if you don't get up that one last time, that's when you fail. If you stay down, that's when you fail. That is truly the definition of the failing. Not trying again. Not trying again. And like, I like the one song by Kevin Gates. It's called Fairy Tale. If anybody hasn't heard it, I post it on my story all the time. But Kevin Gates is a little harsh, but I swear he speaks to my soul on so many levels with different songs that he writes. But he talks about the come up all the time. And he talks about, speaking your truth. They call you crazy. So the people that change the world or really do invent things are called crazy. Do you want to make a difference? Or are you okay with being mediocre? And for so long, I was okay with being mediocre. I thought I was okay with being mediocre, and I'm not. Like, I came here to make waves. I went through everything to speak my truth. I went through everything to help other people step into, I don't care if you want to call it their power, their passion, their desire. Pick your word. Doesn't matter. It took me so long to even want to speak on a camera, want to take pictures. So like me doing reels like the way I do them, that's huge for me. And I'm working on creating my own content and stuff like that now. I had such a hard time even liking to take pictures. Like when he died, I had no self confidence. None. Like none. Like I said, rebuilding your self confidence is hard sometimes. Really hard. Because a lot of times it's broken by somebody else. And you're just left with the pieces and you got to put them back together and glue them back together. There's like a Chinese proverb or like what they do over in China when something's broken and they glue it back together, they outline the broken pieces in gold. And that's the way I sort of look at myself today is I'm like, I was broken, but I'm just outlined in gold now in those spots, right? And it's just, I wasn't broken. I was just confused. I had to figure out what was really the best version of me. What did I really want to become? What really made me happy in life? I love helping people. And yeah, that's why I was in the healthcare field and did health insurance. I just needed a different platform to do it on, for sure. And like social media definitely has given me that. And I'm so blessed to be able to do this and talk to people from the comfort of my own home. Like I said, hopefully, start of the new year, I'll have an office space. I'm definitely looking into that. I'm super excited. It's not that home doesn't work well for me, but I sort of miss having my own cute little office and stuff like that. So definitely working on that. When I went to see the venue yesterday for, we have an event coming up in San Antonio on the 1st. I was super excited. And they were showing me the offices that they have. And I was like, yes, that's what I want. I want one of them. And it's such a cute little venue. But anyway, guys, you have to like speak up for yourself. If you're too much, let that person leave and find less. Really, do not dim your light for nobody. Lighting a candle with another candle never kills the light. Nobody should dim your light. I don't care if it's mom, dad, sister, husband. If they're dimming your light, this is probably going to hurt some people because it hurt me when I heard it. And I actually read it while Kyle was still alive. If it dims your light or they're not helping you grow to become the best version of you, they're probably not your person. When you love somebody or it's your family and you hear that, ooh, that hurts. It's a blow. And if I say stuff some days that hurt your feelings, it's probably because you needed to hear it. I know I needed to hear it. And when I read that, and it was in the book Think and Grow Rich, they said sometimes the person that's holding your hand is the person that's holding you down. I was like, they're like, and if that's the truth, you might have to leave them. They're probably not your person. They're not going to support your dreams. They're not going to support your goals. You'll never get anywhere. You just have to be okay with being unhappy. When I read that, I was like, but I love them. That's such a bad excuse. Love shouldn't hurt. Love should make you grow. Love should be patient. And there's a lot of things that love should be, but it should never hurt you. Love should never hold your head underwater. Love should hold your head above water when you feel like you're drowning. Um, that's a really, really hard truth for me to even swallow, because the hand I held for 7 years held me underwater, man, and I had no idea. I did. I was so blind, and they say love is blind, but that's the lover in me. That's the want to help people, because I thought maybe if I did something different, I did something better, I was better, they'd love me better. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. Not at all. Every time I changed myself for them, they found a reason to belittle that new version of me, or it was never going to be right. It was never going to be enough. And if you just don't feel good in your relationship, and you're not going to have the best days, trust me, your good relationships are work. I get it. Yeah, the single girl over here preaching it. I know, I get it. Their work. It's not going to be, fairy tales. And the worst part is, I believe in fairy tales, and people are like, you believe in those happily ever afters? If you guys ever watch any fairy tales and you actually watch them, the beginning always has like sort of a sadder story to it, and then a real struggle in the middle, and then a happy ending. But they have to go through that struggle to get that happy ending. I don't care if you watch Beauty and the Beast. I don't care if you watch Cinderella. I don't care if you watch Aladdin. I don't care what you watch. Fairy tales always have a struggle in it. But you have to get through the struggle. You have to do the work and make it work. It's not just like, oh, poof, she fell in love with the prince and they lived happily ever after. None of them ever work out that way. And if you ever actually watch or read Grimm's Tales, I love to read the original fairy tales of like Cinderella and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and stuff like that. Beauty and the Beast is my absolute favorite fairy tale. But there's a struggle. There's an absolute struggle. I swear I'm like Belle, though. She likes to read. She was a little dorky, a little extra. Loved it. Anyway, a little tidbit about Jill. Jill's favorite movie. But I believe in love, and I do believe in good relationships. But I think so many people got ruined in this day and age of Insta Perfect and Snapchat and that instant gratification stuff. Facebook perfect. There's no perfect in life, guys. There's not. I don't care who you talk to. Any healthy relationship will tell you about their struggles. They might not talk about it when they're going through it because they usually talk about that, in private. I believe relationships should be private, not a secret. There's a big difference. Relationship should be private, but you should never keep your other person a secret. To me, that's odd. But that's just me. There's always popular opinions, so I'm sure this video may get a lot of comments on it. But you have to speak up for yourself. I don't care if you're a guy, girl, whatever. You got to follow your passion, your desire. And there's somebody out there that'll encourage you. There's somebody out there that's going to build with you. And like, it's about having partnership. It's not about one leading the other one. It's about working together. It's about helping each other thrive. You got to find happiness within. Find your truth within first, what really you want. And if you're with somebody, talk to them about it. There's a great book called Building an Empire by Elena Cardone, Grant Cardone's wife, and I love Grant Cardone. Love him. One of his first books, Seller Be Sold, was one of the first sale books I ever read. And he's a great entrepreneur and great author. But she wrote a book called Building an Empire, and it talks about her come up and then how to like have two successful people like survive in entrepreneurship, because surviving in entrepreneurship, just even as an individual, is rough, especially your first 5 to 10 years. It's busy, it's chaotic, it's a different type of crazy, but I love it. I wouldn't trade it. And she talks about how like you sit down with one another and talk about weekly goals, and you just don't have to be in the same business, but it's about supporting each other and encouraging each other's goals. Sometimes you have to be the one that kicks them in the ass to keep them going. But as long as they're okay with it, usually they'll welcome that. Like, I love when people are like, Jill, what you doing? Pull your head out of your ass and let's go. Because I get in my feelings. This week was a rough week. Like, this is the anniversary week of some stuff for me. Like, not every day's a good day. Not every week's the perfect week. But it's worth it, especially when you're working on your dreams, your goals. Like, everybody sees me run my weird hours, like up to 1 or 2, looking for content, making content, answering DMs. I get free time in the afternoon, so like I don't really go out at night because my free hours are like 1 to 4 usually. I run stuff in the morning, I run stuff at night. I love to work out and like take good care of myself. So I run some crazy hours. But when you're running a business, you have to take care of you, because if you don't take care of you, especially in the startup phase of businesses, your business can't run. Because until you get bigger, when you can hire people and other people can start to help run your business and manage things for you, you wear a lot of hats. You do, and it's rough at first. And like, I'm developing people, and I have some great people on my team that really do keep me in check and help me out. They really do. But you got to take care of you, from personal development, reading, from meditation to workouts. Like, when I preach Mind, Body, and Soul, like, yeah, working out, great, keeps me in shape. That's a perk. But I do it to clear my head. It keeps me just like in a zone. It's a zen. Like, after a bad day, sometimes I'll go and do the stepper just to work off the energy. It's a healthier outlet than going out and drinking or whatever. And trust me, I've used those unhealthy outlets, and they don't make you feel any better. You actually feel a heck of a lot worse in the morning. So like, just learning your healthy outlets. I don't care if you go sit by the pool. I don't care if you go sit on your patio. I don't care if you meditate. You got to find healthy outlets to take care of yourself. When you're taking good care of yourself, your body, responds better, of course, which means your mind's clear, which means you can focus more on your business, focus more on your relationships, just focus more on things you actually, do. Of course, it's one of those ones where when you truly start taking care of mind, body, and soul, everything else starts to fall into place. And sometimes, though, a lot of people don't realize some things fall apart, and you're like, man, why did that happen? Or why did that person leave my life? Or because you're leveling up. And I'll tell you right now, like, you can't take everybody with you. And I was watching Steve Harvey talk to, he was an NFL player, and he was like, man, how do I, take care of my girl because he had a really nice girl he was getting ready to marry, and still hang out with the guys and stuff like that. And Terry's like, I understand you want to please your boys and stuff like that. He's like, but if those boys don't like the new you, the new level of you, then they're not going to go to the next level with you. He's like, your real homies, your real boys, and people that are really meant for you in this life will respect your decisions, will applaud that growth. And we'll see, yeah, like you probably not going to go to the bars as much or go to the strip clubs as much or whatever, because you now have new responsibilities. Like if you're stepping into being a business owner, you're not going to do the same things you did when you worked at McDonald's. What? And when you go from being single to, really having a significant other, you're not going to do the same things you did in your single life. Some people do, but they usually end up back in that single life. Like new levels require new skill sets, new behaviors, new actions. And sometimes those old friends will be like, oh man, you changed. Yeah, I changed for the better. They should be applauding you, not putting you down. They should be applauding you. Man, when you win, really take a look around who claps for you. It'll tell you a lot about your circle. That's a deep one. That one hurt me too. Because when I started to win, I really looked at who was there to celebrate with me. Or who was celebrating with me, should I say. But I'll tell you, on the come up, it's lonely. And as you come up, watch who's around. And when you made it, watch how many people are around. It's a lot different. And I'm telling you right now, protect your energy, protect your resources, protect everything that you worked extremely hard for. If they weren't willing to ride the bus with you, they sure and shit don't deserve a seat in that Bentley with you. And that was hard for me. That was really hard. And I'm not saying I fucking got that Bentley, but I'm a little bit further than I was a few years ago, and everybody wants to hang out when you're doing okay. But when I have my bad days or bad times, I'll tell you how dry that phone is. Woo. Sheesh. And that's okay, guys, because some people aren't meant to go to the next level. Some people in your life just were in your, everybody comes into your life for a season, a lesson, a lesson, a blessing, whatever it is. But if you have questions for them, ask them. I'm a firm believer, if you want to ask me something, ask me something. There's no silly questions. And if somebody says, why you always got to ask so many questions? That's the only way you get answers. What do you mean? No question is silly. If you're around a mentor or something like that, you really do definitely want to make sure you're asking well put together questions. But if it's a friend, a family member, something along those lines, if you can't ask them a question, why? You should never feel uncomfortable talking to your friend, your family member. And if they say, you're too nosy, you're too this, you're too that, why are they uneasy? I always want to know. I've had guys say to me, you don't always have to say what's on your mind. And I'm like, I do. I'm like, because if I bottle things up, that's unhealthy. And that's how bad arguments happen or things happen. And I don't expect anybody to read my mind because, God, I hope you don't expect me to read your mind because that's not one of my talents. Thank God. I don't think I'd want to be in anybody's head, and nobody wants to be in my head. Trust me. Like I said, it was a dark place for a while. I'm working on that positivity, love, and light, and that's always a work in progress. But, good communication is so important. Like this says, speak up and speak your truth. If people don't like what you have to say, that's not on you. Are you happy? Are you doing everything you're doing with love, light, and good intentions? Then that's on them. Truly. It's really on them. Don't let their opinion of stuff hinder you at all. It's okay. That comes from the reflection of them. Is it because you're doing it? Are they jealous? Are they envious? I was talking to somebody from my past, and they're like, man, you used to pick on me when I worked out all the time. They're like, it pushed me to work out more. And I'm like, man, I'm sorry. I picked on you when you worked out all the time. And I remember picking on them. I'd be like, damn, you're like a meathead and this and that. And I was very jealous and envious. My dad had just passed away, and I wanted to be able to work out, and I wanted to be able to be like that. but I was working, I was taking care of my sister, I was doing a lot of stuff. So I was really jealous that they had the freedom to work out when they wanted to, and they had the motivation because, man, between working and school and helping the family, and I was tired. I don't use the T word, but I was tired mentally, emotionally, everything. Oh, thank you, Roy, for hopping on. But it's one of those ones where, I said to them after that, I was like, I'm so sorry I picked on you. And they're like, oh man, it drove me to work out more or want to work out more. I didn't realize I did that. I was like 20, 21. I was young. And like I said, I was damaged. I was hurt. I was mad at life. And I didn't even know I was mad at life because I still walked around with my big smile on. Nobody even knew I was mad at life. I didn't until later when I healed, And I look back now and I did stuff like that. Like I tell people, like, shit, I'm far from perfect. And I try to talk to you guys about that stuff very transparently. And like that's why I tell my team, like, if you see something I'm doing or whatnot, like, of course I don't want people to say negative stuff in open setting, but let's have a conversation. Let's make it right. What do you think I can change? What can we impact better? What can we do that you see would be more helpful or more fruitful? Because I'm human. I love to work with people to make things better and greater and more effective. Like that's an amazing thing for me. I'm all about teamwork and communication. But sometimes I think my energy intimidates people because I'm hyper and I'm excited sometimes. And it's just because I'm hyper and excited. Trust me, I'm open to all opinions. I want to hear it because I only see from my eyes. I can't see it from everybody else's. So when people have negativity stuff to say, I've actually got to a point in life where I feel bad for them. Why do I say I feel bad for them? Because when they're negative, they probably got something going on at home you don't know about, or inside, or been through something and that they haven't worked through. And if they have to be mean to me to make themselves feel better, okay. I'm not saying it's right, but okay. It ain't on me though. I didn't do it, They did. Or they got something going on they need to work through. So all I can say is I send them love and light and pray for them. Because that negativity is it's so toxic for them. When you're negative or you're mad at other people, it's literally like drinking poison to hurt someone else. You can't hold on to hate or resentment, towards someone else because it does nothing to them. Trust me, most people won't even think about you an hour after, like I was talking about it the other day, like road rage or something like that. They won't even give it two thoughts. It's not keeping them up at night, but it's keeping you up at night. Your reason, you're giving your peace and your positivity away to somebody who didn't even take moments to think about you afterwards. Don't do it. Let it go. I don't care if you go outside and ground it and let it into the universe. I don't care if you go outside and scream it out and feel better or you work it out, but let it go. Guys, the best thing is to become the best version of you. And I hope this helps somebody write down your dreams and start making them into a reality. Speak your truth. Speak it. A lot of people that are on here are younger than me. Do it now. Don't wait. Like I started following my path more like that. Everything happened January of 2019, so it'll be almost 4 years this year. But, it took me about 2 years to figure out what I was and things like that, what I wanted to be. But guys, go for it. I don't care if you're 18 or you're 60. You have dreams. You got another day. You're blessed to wake up another day. Go for it. Who cares? Anyway, it is almost 4:00. I'm going to let you guys go. I got some things to take care of myself. I will be on Monday at 3:00. I love you guys so much, and I hope everybody has a phenomenal weekend. Talk to you later, family.